Hi, everybody. Well, this last week, as I experienced it, told me that we are in the midst of a total and wonderful transformation in the United States. That will be formalized with God's help in the safe inauguration of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance on Monday, and the 100 or more executive orders Trump will sign to implement the policies Americans voted for on November 5th. The security situation in Washington on Monday remains fraught, particularly because Trump has not backed down one bit on destroying the security state, which almost destroyed this nation. Marco Rubio, of all people I never imagined would say such a thing, heralded America's new beginning, the total and exciting revolution in culture and ideas we are now experiencing, in his opening statement to his confirmation hearing to be Secretary of State on Wednesday. He said the dark age of British imperial policy, of labor-killing free trade, open borders, endless wars, and population collapse, and the endless pessimism is over. It was a destructive delusion. The nation state, the best form of organizing human creativity, culture, and growing population, is back, as is hope and optimism. The future belongs to the patriots, not the globalists, as President Trump has said repeatedly. Right on cue, Trump secured a truce in the Middle East. It was the same ceasefire proposal Netanyahu had authored himself back in May, before killing thousands more. And it took Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Trump to get it done, to get Netanyahu to accept his own peace proposal, his own ceasefire proposal. Biden and Blinken failed totally, and they now have even more blood on their hands based on their cowardice and impotence. Across the world, the British oligarchy's servants plotted to keep their stinking mess alive. They call it Trump-proofing. The UK signed a 100-year agreement with Ukraine to keep the war against Russia going. France talked about sending troops in, but Trump's envoys are already negotiating the end to this chapter. And just when official Washington and pundits of all stripes obsessed pro and con about the new war with China, Trump upended the chessboard yet again, posting on Truth Social that he and Xi Jinping had a great call and they would be working together to solve the world's problems. China's vice president will attend the inauguration. Trump's nominees sailed through their Senate confirmations. The Democrats tried to erode what the people voted for on November 5th, the unique historical individual called Donald Trump, and his promise to revive the economy, end forever wars, and drain the Washington swamp. Make yourself independent of Trump, they pleaded, demanded, attacked. It all flopped. Joe Biden, in his final demented speech, warned all of us that an oligarchy is loose in the land, composed of the big tech innovators like Elon Musk, now around Trump. As usual, this was quite mad. I don't know any oligarch in history who can do what Musk did this week, capturing a skyscraper of a rocket returning to Earth precisely. Meanwhile, the fires in California, caused by gross mismanagement and woke ideology and the same anti-human worldview Marco Rubio attacked and said basically was now officially dead, continued to rage on there with the fires and really put a fine point on the dark age we are now emerging from into, hopefully, a very bright tomorrow. Now, I know a lot of you check out at this point in our strategic overviews, but if you hold on, I'm going to clarify in detail the really quite astounding developments I just outlined in such short order. First, the security situation for Monday. Dan Bongino has been reporting that the transition team knew that the Secret Service and others weren't being straight in their preparations for Monday's inauguration. Obviously, Trump is a target, just like Lincoln was, who had to be snuck into D.C. for his inauguration based on a live assassination plot. Basically, it's for the same reason the international oligarchy realized that they're about to lose all power. The inauguration has been moved inside to the Capitol Rotunda and other indoor locations to mitigate the threat, but it is still there. Second, the nation state is back. Marco Rubio's resurrection of the nation state, the position Donald Trump has put under the moniker America First, is truly remarkable. The idea for the so-called globalist society, the open society, comes from George Soros's mentor, the evil British philosopher Karl Popper. Popper hated Plato, said there was no universal truth or God, said that Hitler was the result of authoritarian personalities rather than the machinations of the British Empire. And Popper called for open borders, unregulated free trade, and radical libertarian individual freedom, disconnected from any purpose or mission in life. Popper, in other words, sought to destroy Western civilization. Those are the philosophical touchstones of the dark age we just emerged from. I thought the two most important things to emerge from this week's confirmation hearings were the complete preparation and competence displayed by Trump's nominees, their unflinching devotion to Trump's policies, and the flailing and outright hysteria of the Democrats. Pete Hegseth wanted to talk about why we keep losing wars and why our defense industrial base is in shambles. The Democrats wanted to talk about his sex life. Chris Wright is a Secretary of Energy who actually knows about energy, as opposed to Jennifer Granholm. I don't know how you describe her, but she's clearly a ditz, unable to actually think clearly about the field she is in. Wright studied fusion at MIT and made clear that nuclear will be a key component of our new energy arsenal while rebuilding the electrical grid. These are the essential first steps in putting our economy on a sound footing, on creating the basis to produce things once again. Scott Bessent at Treasury will work with taxes and other incentives to ensure that our supply chains are here and our manufacturing capacity in all vital goods will be back, and the frontier of new technologies which will enliven our economy are developed and fully funded. Pam Bondi made clear that the weaponization of government and lawfare, which turned our country in effect into a banana republic, will be investigated and brought fully into the sunlight. Trump himself made this clear in a call into Dan Bongino's show, saying that January 6th will be exposed, the controlled riot on January 6th, and the insane prosecutions will be exposed and the truth told to the American people. The nominations for Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and RFK Jr., those fights haven't happened yet. They represent the biggest change agents Trump has nominated, solely based on the oligarchy's opposition to them, and they loom ahead. This week's triumphs put those nominations on a much clearer footing. But this will be a huge fight with the security state and Big Pharma and our financialized behemoth known as the healthcare sector of the economy. The fires in the future. Again, as if to remind us of the muck and dark age we are emerging from, Los Angeles continues to burn. Michael Schellenberger has done a stellar job reporting on its causes. He basically captions his fine piece concerning his wrap-up for the week. You can't trust people who hate civilization to run it. These fires do not come from climate change, as the mad Democrats endlessly chant. Rather, people's lives have been ruined by the incompetent politicians they elected as governor and mayor. Resources which should have gone to disaster preparation based on the known fire danger in LA went to DEI, the homeless whose meth addictions result in many set fires, while cutting the fire department and all efforts to prepare. Juxtapose that horrific tragedy to my favorite clip from this week. A 25-year-old self-educated genius by the name of Isaiah Taylor appeared on Mark Halpern's Two-Way podcast yesterday. He is a high school dropout who has studied, and he says, obsessed about nuclear power since he was 15. He now owns a private company developing small nuclear reactors, which has been capitalized in the millions. So he is the real deal. He told the show he was just at Mar-a-Lago and had been there before, where he received an open reception and he briefed the Trump transition team all about what small nuclear reactors and the nuclear revolution can do to energize our economy. He says that basically they are completely open to him because they are dedicated to producing things once again in America, to building things, that which this administration and previous ones virtually banned us from doing. That indeed will be the nature of our future. 25-year-old, 15-year-old, other people obsessing about the new discoveries which men and women in this world can make. That's what defined the American character and uniquely is our American culture. Joe Biden, it's not an idea, as he said in his so-called farewell address. It's a culture. It's a people. And we have the unique ability to bring about the good, as our founders said, for all of mankind. So tonight, Bruce and Tony will actually go after this entire notion of the rebirth of science. Science itself coming back into the fore of our national existence. Tune in to their class tonight. I think your mind will be intrigued and triggered. Your imagination will also be happy. With that, I'll close for today. I'll see you again on Inauguration Day, Monday. I think a very, very happy day. Thanks very much for listening. This is Barbara Boyd, and this has been your Saturday Wrap.
Thanks for watching. Please take a moment and subscribe to our free newsletter at prometheanaction.com.